welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
Magic! Missy turned
It's
into
magic.
John.
I know, downgrade, but sometimes it happens like that.
And they are getting their headset on right now, and they just kind of just disappeared. But we do have Nerd from Nerdhalla going to be joining us shortly. And when they get their headphone on, she'll finally realize that we've been talking about her for a while, and she'll be like, "What the heck?
Y'all just wait, talking about her. I am nice.
She's on here.
Oh.
She got her headphone on. Shh, be quiet."
That's not busy.
I am not busy. I'm John.
Hi, John.
Hello.
I just turned around. I'm like, wait a minute.
Guys, so this episode.
Hail hydrant.
Oh, another Hell Hydrate. Hell Hydrate. So this episode is going to be, we've got our good friend Nerd from Nerdhalla. She
Hello.
is going to be on talking about just a bunch of stuff, talking about nerd things, painting, giant chickens, because she's from Iowa, and then, just Nerdhalla, and, a lot. We're going to probably discuss a lot about some D&D stuff, because she's got a lot of D&D things going on, too, and I know that we always love to talk about RPG stuff. So before we do that, let's go ahead and get to our business. We want to thank Midnight Heroes. They will be at Warfare Weekend selling their products, which is all the chibi stuff. And they will be running a few of their Dual Fate games. Also, they will be doing a special edition Warfare Weekend chibi miniature, so be on the outlook for that. We want to thank Creature Caster for all they do for us. Remember, Thursday nights I paint up Judgment models, and I'll be painting up their Tribe models that they have on My Mini Factory, where if you subscribe to that, you get a certain amount of models, and then you get
Cuttlefish.
And I will be using Cuttlefish only paints for that stuff.
I love Cuttlefish.
They recently gave us a complete set of all their paints, and so I've been using that, all their glazes and sketches.
I'd say I haven't used them yet as a bad thing, but honestly, I haven't painted anything in a while, so that's not really a surprise I haven't used them. Yeah. I need to get back to that. But
I had a full Monty and then got hit with a blizzard and accidentally left them in my garage and had been slowly replacing my set.
May I suggest a great container for paints is actually like those cooler bags.
I was gonna get an old fridge.
That'll work too, but a cooler bag will keep them from changing temperature too much if they're out somewhere. Like if you put them in the...
Yeah, we hit sub-zero temperatures for a few days, so they all just turned to cottage cheese. So don't do that to your acrylic paints, folks. Don't do that.
And then, let's see, who else? I want to thank Parallel War Games. If you click the link and you like their models, you can get 10% off your first order. And then Turbo Dork. Awesome Turbo Dorks. They do all the color shifting paints and metallic paints. And these things, by the way, they're little silicone palettes.
Stop taunting everyone. They only have the small ones in stock still.
They only have the small ones, but I did talk to them recently, and they are getting the bigger ones in, but they're waiting. It should begin as soon as possible. And if you don't use the silicone paint palettes, it's a must, because look. You want to see a cool little magic trick? See, there's got this little bit of paint right here. And, if you got those plastic paint palettes or whatever, it just sticks there.
Scrape.
Well, you just kind of bend it and poop, pops right out, and you're done.
Magic!
I love these things. It saves so much. Yeah. I haven't used my wet palette is a different story, but, the silicone one.
But yeah, even this for the that comes with my wet palette is still tough to get clean.
Yeah,
you can't use anything abrasive or it will scratch it, and then it's really bad. Yep.
As you can see, mine is beautifully clean.
How do you like that size of a palette?
Because
that fits in the top of that.
This is the one that comes with the Game Envy palette,
uh-huh.
the Exemplar palette. I like this one. I use this side more for dry brushing. And then this for more either dry brushing or inks, and then this I use for metallics.
Yep. Well, you'll like the new palettes when they come in.
Article avoid that works. Piece of glass. We used to use a bunch of ceramic tiles. People would use those. There's still a bunch at my buddy Marshall's place for when we go over and paint. I just happen to have that. A good trick for these palettes, though, if you don't have the nifty silicone one, is if you got white glue, just put it on there and let it dry, and then it'll peel the paint right up with it when you peel it off.
Brilliant. Why didn't I ever think of that? I've got so much Elmer's glue around.
I know. Well, I used to do a bunch. Well, I mean, you mixed up in the same thing, and it got stuck on something. I'm like, oh, hey. And damn it, working at the Games Workshop for 9.5 years has to be good for something.
Let's see, other shout-outs. We want to thank Muse on Minis. By the way, we have new links for everybody. While we cannot give discounts anymore, I totally apologize for that. A lot of companies have moved away from discounts, but it is an affiliate link, and so we do get a little bit kickback from it. I apologize for that, but a lot of companies have started to move away from that. No big deal. I mean, we're in tough times, guys.
Part of that might also be technical museums. I saw Facebook-wise, since it's some problems with their website. They're fixing them. They should be good now, but they've had some issues. So give them some time. Maybe we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, they actually got a bunch of new things coming out, type stuff. So you'll be seeing that on Muse's website. But you can use our new affiliate link. Who else? Did I get everybody?
I believe you got it. Parabellum.
I got Parabellum. Yeah, I got Parabellum.
Okay, then you're good. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. I'm looking through all my stuff. I did bring out my demons from Creature Caster because everybody was wondering what models would be painting up based on the polls and voting. So you'll see that. I'll show those miniatures off for the judgment before we get started painting on that. Let's get to the super stupid, incredibly important part of the podcast, the most important part. What is everybody drinking tonight? Nerd, you're new. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Wicked Grove Persecco dry cider from Aldi.
Okay, that's the thing you can drink. I would definitely try it.
It's my first time having it. It was that or try to figure out a mixed drink to go with watermelon juice.
But do you measure your mixed drinks?
Oh no.
Aha! I have a sister in arms.
I have never measured my mixed drinks unless it is something very specific I've never made before. But like if I'm making a dark and stormy or something like that, I just pour.
You got to measure for dark and stormy because you got it.
John is in the art of measure everything, and we're all in the pour. Yep, it looks good to me.
Said in the chat, measure with your heart. I mean, we're Americans, and I know we'll use anything to not use the metric system. For fuck's sake, we don't measure with the heart, though.
Oh, no. See, my dad, a science teacher, taught me that my eyes were a scientifically accurate measuring device when I asked him why he never measured anything when he cooked.
If you use the same glass or whatever for your drinks, then absolutely you'll figure out real quickly what's right. But I measure them.
Yeah, I usually just kind of like eyeball a shot. I usually underpour a little bit. So
that's not my way. Underpouring is not my way.
My stomach doesn't let me overpour.
John, what are you having tonight?
Well, I'm gonna start off, finish it off. I got one shot left of the red stag, so I'm gonna finish off that. And then I'm going to follow it up with a Dr. Pepper and Fireball whiskey.
I am doing the good old-fashioned H2O. I do have my biopsy this week, so I just got to make sure I keep all good and fancy and keep it all hydrated. So maybe after that, I can have a little bit of alcohol.
And before we start to wrap through, I did mention earlier that I've not yet been able to get the parts to make the Bramble, but it is still on my list.
I learned about a drink today. It was called like a tiki torch or something like that, and it was Malibu, Fireball, and something else in it. I was just like, that sounds really weird, but it could also be really good.
I mean,
but just the idea of putting Malibu and Fireball together, and I was just kind of like, oh.
No, I mean it's gonna be extra sweet. So whatever else they have, gotta cut it a little bit. But
yeah,
Sprite.
That's the opposite of cutting it a little bit. That's actually extra sweet. Thanks. I meant like a little bit of lime juice or something to actually cut it.
Yeah, lime.
Do we have any shout-outs? We've been out for about 2 weeks. I know everybody has some stuff. Tina Turner.
Yes,
Tina
Tina Turner.
Turner.
Yes.
Yep.
Queen.
The Queen. I mean, I can, icon among icons type thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was nothing you can say about that. I mean, Tina
I mean,
Turner.
yeah. You could
Amazing.
say she was simply the best.
Simply the best.
Best.
Better than all the rest. Okay. Um, Captain Mizzy is checking her notes because that is her new job now of finding out who else.
Oh yeah, Ray
Oh,
Stevenson.
Ray Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray Stevenson. Uh,
Uh,
some people call him the best Punisher, by the way.
That's not true. Sorry.
He was a Punisher?
He was a Punisher.
When?
Now,
A long time ago.
the third Punisher movie before the Netflix stuff came out.
Yeah.
So Dolph Lundgren was the first one, then you had Thomas Jane, then you had Ray Stevenson. And I'll be honest, Ray Stevenson is not the bad part of the Punisher movie.
No, it was just a
He actually is absolutely fine in it. The rest of the movie kind of lets him down. Punisher Warzone, yes, Arthur Michael Lavoie.
I know, like, he's been in some stuff that's coming out, that's going to be coming out. I think
He's just enjoyable in everything. I mean, I watched Accident Man not that long ago. He's in that, and he's great. The stupid steampunk Three Musketeers.
Mm-hmm.
He was in that, and fucking great in that.
He's actually going to be in the new Ashoka series coming out. He's going to be in that. And he's been in a lot of stuff.
Ahsoka. That's what he's going to be in that's coming out.
Yes.
Yeah. What was the thing? I mean, there's been plenty of things that he's been in, but
Yeah, he
The
makes movies better.
Transporter, Rome.
Yeah, was in the Transporter Reloaded as the Transporter's father, because it was the guy who played the bad guy from Deadpool 1 as the Transporter, Ed Skeen.
Oh, yeah.
Stevenson is the better part of that movie than Ed Skeen. I'm sorry, Ed Skeen's not leading man material. Sorry, Ed Skeen.
I'll tell you the one thing that I remember him from more than anything was Rome, the HBO TV series. If you didn't watch that, yeah, it was really, really good, and he did really good. I mean, he was in I was looking it up, 22 episodes of Rome, and that was a great series. And for him to be in that and do all the cool stuff, it was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys,
I knew him from Black Sails too.
Oh, yep.
And yep. I'm just looking through it. I'm like, what else was he in that I know?
Scrolling through his IMDb.
Yep.
Yep.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
That's what we do.
Yep.
We always get that.
Like, what have I seen? King Arthur was the first thing I saw him in.
I was in King Arthur? God, I don't even remember.
Yeah,
I barely remember that movie. That's the
one with Keira
501.
Knightley.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Which was a big hoopla because they tried to change Kira's boob size in the pictures, and she threw a big hissy fit, and she's like, "No, leave my boob size alone." And they were getting all up, and I remember that drama because she was pissed.
Yep.
So, guys, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. Even for all the people that can't be here live but listen to us on any other platform, we really appreciate it. It was nice meeting some of our fans at Rocky Top that listened to us. Like we say, if you see something, say something. If you can do something, do something. If you can't, find someone that can. But make sure you look after each other. Cheers.
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 That is the tiniest mule cup. I love it.
Oh, one of my people at work bought it for me because I collect shot glasses and such. So she was in DC and like, I saw this and thought of you. I'm like, everyone sees a shot glass and thinks of me.
What? No, not John.
Yeah, my last person who worked with me who left, he bought me a shot glass when he was out too. I may have a problem. Actually, I don't have a problem. I have a solution.
Well, I mean, alcohol is a solution.
It is. Yes, it is.
Take one shot from every glass. So we invited Nerdhalla on here, aka Nerd, which is what she prefers to go by. Because I've watched you on your Twitch stream, hung out with you. I do a lot of hanging out without saying anything a lot of times because it's usually on my phone or whatever at work. 'Cause I try to support all of our people everywhere. Any way of doing. But So tell us who you are. Tell us how you got started, what you do, and then we'll get into some other discussions while I flip us over to the painting cam, and I'll let you talk for a little bit. That's all you.
All right. Excuse me. Hi, I'm Nerd. I run Nerdhalla Designs. It has been the name of my art business, whatever form it has decided to take over many years now. But the last couple of years, I decided to venture into streaming. I started out with almost strictly gaming and doing epoxy resin art at the time. Then realized that made for very short streams because it has a very limited working time. But played around with that for a while. Then started running my D&D games on there on Tuesday nights called the Tribe of Idiots. And in the last year, almost year and a half now, I've started getting back into mini painting because it was something that I did back when I first started playing TTRPGs when I started playing first edition Pathfinder. And took a few classes, painted minis just for those games, and then it was winter. I'm like, well, I can't pour resin in the middle of winter, so I'll paint minis, and then fell in love with it all over again and have never turned back.
So what type of minis do you like to paint?
I paint primarily resin 3D printed minis. Anything that I can get my hands on. I love all kinds of characters. Like I've got one here that's little gnome versions of Adam and Jamie from Mythbusters. So like
Nice.
I'll paint anything from like that to a full size 75mm bust to I've got another one I'm working on here that's Alex Straza from World of Warcraft. So I don't know, kind of whatever tickles my fancy, and people seem to enjoy the vibrant colors that I like to use. I do not shy away from bright colors.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't. Bright colors are awesome for that. Give your mini a pop, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, I'm going to refresh that web palette.
So yeah, I've now gotten into doing I'm starting to now do monthly one-shots for D&D. And those have been going done a couple of those. We've got some more upcoming. I'm booked all the way through October for that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I've got booked. What do you mean by booked?
I have full casts set up every month between now and October. For October. So we've got we're doing Wild Sheep Chase, and I'm doing How Not to Host a Murder. We're doing some more of the Oops All Whatevers. So I'm looking forward to Oops All Edgelords. I think that's the one I'm looking forward to most because that's going to be the most ridiculous.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah, somebody gave me the idea, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to run with that because I know exactly who to invite. But it's also a great way to connect with other streamers because I've been inviting other, like my Oops All Goblins Ladies Night was all female mini painters. And it was a great way to kind of come together and get to know each other a little bit in a different platform than just mini painting.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
No, that's awesome. I'm a little surprised to hear that you started with Pathfinder First Edition, which is interesting.
Yeah, that was I didn't actually start DMing until about 3-4 years ago. When my neighbor introduced me to Critical Role.
Oh, that's hey.
And I started learning it. I watched that and then started listening to like the Adventure Zone and a few other podcasts, Dungeons and Daddies, and
You're naming all the ones I know.
yeah. I think is it Bardology?
I
I
haven't
can't
heard of
remember. There,
Nerdhalla,
there
but
was one that I used to listen to that was all bards, and it was delightful. But
or story in a
I
second.
decided the best way to teach myself how to play 5th edition was to start running a game.
Well, funny you say that, because right next to me here, I've opened up a couple times. I have the fifth edition books that I purchased a couple weeks ago, and I am going to learn how to do the fifth edition way by running it for some people at work and all.
Yeah. I invited all people that had been DMs before into my first campaign. So they were helping me while I was learning. And some of them had never played 5th edition, but they'd played previous editions.
We have
So everybody had their own experience in DMing, and so I started by running Yawning Portal, and then decided about a year into that, started homebrewing. I think that was around the time the pandemic hit.
sudden free time. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
we have two brand newbies, two veteran players who don't GM, and then two veteran players who also GM in my
Okay.
group. So it's going to be interesting. As far as the Bard story, we're using the Animal Adventures, so you can play as a dog or cat or whatever. And the one veteran is going to play a husky bard, so she can bardic inspiration. Oh, I'm like, all right, I'm sold. You're good. Let's go.
I think my favorite concept for a bard that I ever heard was a puppeteer who used puppets to act out fight scenes.
That would be awesome.
And our player that was doing that brought finger puppets.
Oh, that's
even better.
Oh my god, that would be great. Great. Yeah. Oh, Order the Stick Bard, yeah.
Order of the Stick, yes.
Oh man, I haven't seen that in forever.
No, I haven't. I've lost track of all my webcomics. It seems like they've gone. Time is so tough anymore. But anyways, back to that. So you're learning you learned fifth edition by running it, which is interesting.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that? Do you have any thoughts for newer GMs who might do the same thing?
Honestly, like I play with I have a bunch of players who are rules lawyers. I am very fast and loose with the rule set. So, but that is something I have developed as a DM over years. When I first started learning, like, a lot of it is just action economy and remembering, like, the fact that, like, you can't not able to cast, like, 2-leveled spells or things like that, or just kind of learning the different classes and how they act. I liked building characters and started reading through their different abilities and started kind of like role playing on my own on the side. Just like, okay, if these two characters were to interact, what would happen?
That's good, actually. As opposed to real planning, and I know a lot of DMs have this script and everything. I write bullet points of ideas where things could go, and because you cannot trust a player character group to do what you want at all unless you're railroading them.
What?
Hence, my players named themselves the Tribe of Idiots. I did not give them that title. They named themselves that, and yeah, they are the prime example of ruining the DM's plans. And bullet points, I think, is a great way to prep.
Yes.
Mark Hulmes did a video on YouTube a while back about how he structured his notes, and I kind of took a chunk of that for doing the different bullet points and like things that, like, the kind of possible interactions that may happen or information that they may find, and just kind of keeping it fairly
open?
fairly open, and allowing the players to
really more of guidelines.
Yeah, exactly. More like guidelines, and pick and choose what they wanted to interact with.
Well, I agree. That's sort of my style. I had 3 different players who messaged me on Facebook with the that Avengers meme where it's like, "How do you plan all the time? You know, how do you plan all the time?" Like, that's my secret. I'm always winging it. You know, the Captain America Hulk one. I'm always winging it. I have basic plans and then fucking wing it.
Yeah. My group runs on Tuesdays. I do my planning on Mondays. Because
I do my planning, whatever, but like I'll do a little bit of planning and then just be like, fuck it, I'll wing it when it comes time because we don't need to.
Yeah. A lot of the time I am just winging it, or like when it comes to like health points on a monster, I just kind of they're dead.
You know
when
what?
It's fun.
They should be dead now.
They're dead when it's fun.
Sometimes that's important, yep. And there is a whole group of people, and I don't, begrudge them playing their way, who are like, you can't fudge anything. I'm like, no, we can fudge everything. You're not playing in my game. You don't have to worry about it.
No.
If your game is no fudging, that's cool. If you want the players versus DM, that is absolutely your right to play it that way. Just don't try and impose it on other people. We all play our own ways. It's all good.
Yeah. I have unintentionally turned into the DM that starts playing against their players, and it's not fun from the DM's point of view, at least in my opinion. Unless that's what you were planning to do.
Yeah. It's good to teach a lesson. Once in a while, you get to teach a lesson. Like, oh, you want it to be adversarial. Very well.
Whatever you do, don't make the same mistake that I did. Don't give them too many magic items.
Stories. So from the same campaign, so I was going to tell you that I learned my lesson on DMing because we used to plan a bunch. There are two distinct moments. One, I had an assistant DM because we had too many players. So he's like, I'm going to help you out DM and run and stuff. I'm like, that's awesome, dude. Great. You get to be involved and everything. And with my style, he's like, I wrote like 2 pages of notes I had to throw out because of what you did. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. And then in a D&D campaign, literally I had a DM like rip like 6 pages out of a notebook and throw them in the garbage because of what we did. And I'm like, well, now I'm learning not to do that shit. But on your point of the too many magic items, we had that same campaign. We somehow fell through an anti-magic field, so they're rolling saves for all the magics, like D&D First Edition, and we're all rolling like 2 or 3, and then like the thief and the wizard together like rolling dice like constantly. We're like, what the fuck is going on over there? Apparently, they hadn't told us about like dozens of magic items, dozens.
They have about 6 or 7 each equipped.
Yeah.
Though the most used item in my game is the robe of summon bread that the player made a roll table for to figure out what he pulls out of his sleeve. Oh, here's a tortilla. Here's some challah bread. Here's a bagel. Here's some Texas toast.
That's a magic item I would love in real life. Like, oh my god, that sounds great. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So it's the things like that make it there, and I'm like you, a lot of freewheel, and I don't really worry about it. We're aside from the D&D I'm out there, we're actually currently running Genesis, which is the FFG game that is unfortunately defunct and hard to find stuff for. And I will say now, if anyone needs dice for that, just check Etsy. There's people on Etsy making dice still.
Yeah, which reminds me, I need to send that to Ross.
Yeah, but we do a lot of freewheel, a lot of just roll and see what happens. That's the fun of it. You can't be. Not early on, you want to be super structured with what you're doing. You feel like that's the way to make it fun because you probably feel like all your GMs were fucking super structured. Spoiler, they were not.
Nope.
Yeah. I have made my players so OP that they have yet to lose against a boss.
I had a person like, oh, I want to do this and this. Is like, do what you want. I don't like. This sounds terrible. I don't care what you do. If you're enjoying it, I will make sure the other players have stuff so that they feel like they're doing it. The only rule I care about, and when you're trying to be min-max or you want to be powerful, is shtick preservation. As long as their shtick is fine, I don't care.
Yeah,
because you're all gonna have fun, and that's the name of the game.
Yep. I mean, my entire world is based on puns.
Oh. You're probably not old enough to know that, but there's a book series called Xanth by, I forget, Piers Anthony.
Oh, I know who Piers Anthony is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a YA series. I read it as a young adult myself, and
I'm older than I look.
Everywhere. Oh my god. That's the first thing I think of was a pun. Quicksand actually makes you quicker.
Robert Ashman's Another Fine Myth series is a good one to work on that.
Yep. That's like the two competing one when you're getting up. Usually when you're growing up, you either read one or the other. At least back when I was growing up.
Back in what, 1975?
Motherfucker, I will come through the internet.
Back in the 90s.
So you're older than I am. Keep remembering that.
Not by much.
I know, but still.
Not by much.
Well, let's put it this way. Next year, I will be the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Okay. Well, that is actually the answer. So you are about 20 years under Gonzo and about 12 years, about 8 years under me.
I will be 51 in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yep.
Oh my god. Birthday. Oh, you don't like birthday stuff. Sorry.
Yep, Xander, 42.
All right, I need help figuring out what color to paint the octopus.
Purple.
But I got purple.
He's already got purples and
purple.
oranges going in there. I would do... Okay, point out where the octopus is on the model, please.
On top of her head.
On top of her head. Okay. I would do red.
Her skin's red.
Her skin is... Oh, okay.
His camera's a little off.
Yeah, it's...
Okay.
No, I would say save it and do the clothes and do something so it doesn't detract or take away from the clothes. Because remember, since it's on top of the head, if it's too bright, it'll take away from the rest of the model. And if it's too dark, it just won't be a thing. So I'd wait till you get...
Now I'm looking up octopus pictures.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's black and white. What the hell's wrong with this?
Talk about it. I was going to type it in the chat room, but it's easier to just say it. So, Captain says she's a baby. One of my players in my group is missing the first character building session, but she's a veteran, so it's okay because she's turning 21. And I'm like, oh god, really?
Yeah.
So happens when you have work groups.
Yeah, the reason I was saying red is I was thinking coconut octopus, which are those ones that are like the reddish brown and they've got like the white dots along the edge of the...
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just, I learned a little bit of painting from some GW guys, and the biggest thing that ever stuck with me was Joe Sloboda taught me of making sure your models, your colors are centered so you don't draw someone to one edge of the model too much.
Well, this model's got boobs, so, that just distracts from everything.
I mean, does it?
Well, she is called Mama for a reason.
That just makes it creepy. Now it's creepy.
Mama just killed a man.
There you go. That's better. Uncreepy. So,
either that or we're just gonna start going into Stewie. Mom, mommy, mom, mom, mama, mama, mom, 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 mom.
All right. I'm definitely one of the things on my next list is buying a DSLR camera, so I don't have to worry about this crap anymore.
Yeah, that is on my list. First is a workbench, then a camera.
I got the workbench. Yeah. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I need a bigger workbench. I've just got a desk right now.
Yeah, I've got an L-shaped desk, and one end is the miniature painting end, and then the other end is reading and whatever else I do. Currently, it's reading D&D books. So yeah, it works.
Yeah.
We want to do bigger. We want to, one of our listeners who's not here today challenged me to set up my airbrush. I won't tell you how long I've owned the airbrush, but I probably should set it up.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, it's sitting there, but we got to house stuff, not my house. I can't just throw out stuff. But actually, most of the stuff in the house is mine. That's actually funny. Anyways.
Yeah, because I've got some pieces that are definitely like, I've got a bunch of dungeon tiles that are in desperate need of primer, but I don't want to hand prime them.
That is the only thing. Now, Gonzo and I are very different in that Gonzo can paint and stuff while he's watching TV or something. I cannot, because I fully pay attention to it. I have stories of me doing horrible things in games to people because at the store I'm at, they put on something I hadn't seen before, and I just end up doing something horrible, like just, no punches pulled, immediately done. But, that is the one thing I can do while watching something. I can prime the crap out of stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit base code if you're being sloppy, but I'm trying not to be sloppy anymore.
Yeah. I just figured, because all I've got is one tiny bottle of primer.
Oh, gosh.
To do all my dungeon, I figured airbrush would be the way to go.
I go with the big. I go with black. It's so forgiving.
This is for one specific dungeon set.
Okay.
Because I'm using. Do you know who Mike Moans is? He's a
Awesome.
UK mini painter. He's normally on in the mornings, but I'm using one of his tutorials, and he uses the German dark yellow from Vallejo as his base. So
Hey,
like
I had already
primed them black, so now I get to re-prime them another color.
Oh,
So I'm like, I don't want to have to paint them again. But I
that's
normally
fair.
do hand prime
Yeah.
most of my minis, and I actually use gesso.
I've heard that a lot. I just haven't. I mean, I'm still going through this bottle, so
Yeah.
most of it's just I grab a model. Oh, let me see.
Yeah, I use Liquitex gesso. It lasts me forever.
Just go and just prime like 1 or 2 models at a time. I've got a rotation of guys, so I'm doing some Marvel Crisis Protocol, which is my main game right now, and then do some BattleTech.
I've looked at Crisis Protocol. What's the gameplay like on that?
I enjoy it. It's, I mean, alternating activations makes it a bonus because that's, in my opinion, the best way to play. Very objective driven because there are games I'm like, oh my god, I'm starting to get my butt whipped. And I'm like, oh wait, I'm about to win on the objective, so it's all good. But it isn't one you can just give up on the fighting because if you lose everyone, you do lose the game.
Gotcha.
So I've enjoyed it. It's fun. You inherently don't need a bunch of models, but as my buddy in the UK has been chatting with me occasionally, he's surprised how many models he's ended up with just wanting to get a couple.
Gotcha. Yeah. I got some 3D prints of some like alternate models.
I've got a couple over here I got because I don't like a couple models. My Deadpool broke. Both swords broke on my Deadpool.
Not surprising.
Also, not a fan. I didn't put him on the rocket because, respectfully, I fucking hate that.
You mean you didn't do this one?
I have a problem with tactical bullshit on the base. Like, I'm okay if it's appropriate, but fuck that. That is stupid. Not only is it stupid, it makes the model extra hard to transport.
It should be a unicorn.
I would probably be okay with that, actually. I have a Deadpool in here because that broke, and I have an Iron Fist because the Iron Fist they made is just not good enough. And I'm currently using one from, what is that chibi Marvel game?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Where they got the models?
Marvels? Marvels United?
Yeah,
Marvels
that's it.
United.
So I got the Iron Fist from that, just bought it on eBay, and painted that up. So I use that in the meantime, but it looks a little out of place with the rest of my dudes not being chibi. It's cool. I even kept it on its original base, with a magnet, so I can magnet onto the Marvel Rise size base, and then if I end up playing that game ever, I can just pull it off and go, look, I've got it. It's fine.
Nice. Maybe one of these days I'll get into something, but unfortunately our local shop is so tiny. All they have is a bi-weekly Magic Night, and that's it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. If you got a local shop that's like that, if you can't find players, we are blessed by having 3 shops. I want to say within 45 minutes. Actually, if I have to make 45 minutes, it's probably 4 shops in 45 minutes of me easily. 5,
I used to have 5 or 6 within 45 minutes of each other.
Yeah, thinking about it, there's probably.
Hey, I was from Iowa City, which was like between there and Des Moines. Those are like the cultural meccas of Iowa.
So do you like corn?
No, actually. Neither the band or the vegetable.
Sorry, that's a pre-ramble thing.
Pardon me while I side go here. Big night. Go to bed. You redeem Transformers, and I'm going to cheat again.
Oh, you can't cheat. Hey, if I can't cheat, you can't cheat.
I'm not cheating. I'm going to transform him. See? Look, I got little crab guy. He's got a little crab claws. I love this guy. Let me transform him. That goes back. That goes back. Arms go straight. He's a fucking car. Morning, Big Night. I'm going to get something else here. I haven't put, if you can see by my display here, it is mostly not Transformers, and the only Transformer nearby is Wheelblade here, and We don't have time for me to transform Wheelblade.
We have what? How much time do we have? We have another 45
Okay,
minutes.
What
in
are
the
the
show.
plushy birds behind you?
Oh, the plushy birds? Okay, well, this is Super Dummy, son of
Okay.
Alec, and this is Alex the Honking Bird.
Okay.
It's from a Twitter account. Alex is the honking bird and make honking noises. It was super cute. They did a plushie because they had some medical things and wanted to help out Beezy's way. Unfortunately, Alex has passed, but Super Dommy's still around. So Super Dommy's got a cape.
Cute.
I do like plushies. I know that's weird, but hey, weird for
I love plushies. I need to figure out somewhere to store mine. I mostly just have my Godzilla.
I have an urban mech because they made a plushie urban mech. And then I don't know if you can see them, but up here I have one of the Crix Jacks. What's Crix Jacks is it,
Death
Gonzo?
Ripper?
Death Ripper. And then actually this up here I have sort of Godzilla like. Hold on, come here. Come here. I have a plushie Grimlock.
Grimlock.
Because he's awesome.
Nice.
Yes. He's
Rawr.
Yes, he's gonna hang out over here next to me now because Jake will put him back up. And there you go. I mean, hey, I like cute things. Who cares?
We're adults. With adult money, we can spend them on whatever we want.
Exactly. I mean, hence the giant thing action figures. I will point out that I actually did not start collecting action figures again until the pandemic. And then this is what I've got in a. Well, showing off. I'm going to start rotating the collections. We'll go see different stuff because I know you guys only see over here. This is the newest piece.
Indiana Jones. Excellent.
Indiana Jones.
I
More
heard
on
you
that in the media section.
Yeah.
Is a very good. It's a solid likeness of him. It's not. There's like different ones. It's a good likeness. So, and that's important to me to an extent. Anyways, role playing. Sorry, we got off topic a lot as I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say the next campaign that I'm gonna be running, actually, I'm flipping the tables on my players. So instead of having the current campaign where they all have way too many magic items and there's megafauna and like beast folk and all sorts of stuff, we're flipping the tables and going to a low magic setting.
So I like low magic actually.
Yeah.
When we did a lot of D&D 4th edition, because we're miniature gamers also, so D&D 4th edition hit both those itches at once. And you know, D&D 4th edition has a multitude of flaws, like any edition of D&D. The biggest one is that it expects you to have a certain bonus worth of magic items at by a certain level. So, like,
Gotcha.
by 10th level, it expects you to have +2 in all the various things you can have.
Damn.
And unshockingly, I thought that was bullshit. So instead, I just mathed it and changed the math so you get the bonuses. So if I give you a sword that's +1 to hit, it's +1 to hit above the curve. So it's actually a bonus, not an expectation.
Gotcha.
And then you can give a lot less magic items. Someone's like, I got a sword that gives you +1 to hit. That is great, because it's literally just +1 above the curve. I have an advantage now. Not just, oh, I'm expected to have a +2 and I only have a +1. Oh god, I'm behind.
Yeah, so we're going to be calling it Wielders and Wolves, and actually my partner and I are going to be co-DMing 2 separate groups that will affect each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're going to have the Magic Wielders and the Magic Hunters.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. We just kind of been throwing stuff together in the last week or so. And I did a bunch of world building on stream, which thank you to everybody that's come in and helped me name things and given me ideas. And
that is such the hardest part. Like, there's a million random name generators out there, and kudos to everyone who maintains those on the websites, because, man, when you need a name, fucking just, sometimes just, oh, boom, name, good, yay!
Yep, that's how we ended up with an oasis named Wonderwall.
Fair enough, I got that reference.
Yep. Whereas, like, as opposed to like just like I was trying to come up with something that you would call like specifically like the capital city of a tribe of sun elves versus moon elves versus like the orcs, which of course we had to slip a Daka in there.
I mean, yeah. My
Uh,
my current game is actually based off an old cartoon called Thunder the Barbarian.
oh, I love Thunder.
So yeah, it's very much in the normal world, but in the future. So they don't know where they are. I'm not gonna tell them, but there's a lot of towns that named Freedom something something. So obviously they're still in the U.S. So we haven't gotten too far, and there've been a lot of cancellations, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's just fun just to play a different system and just have just different stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing people forget, like the reason something like Gamma World came out way back in the day is because there was Expedition to Barrier Peaks or something like that, had just random magic items that were actually like super high tech stuff.
Yeah.
That's super cool. It's fun to throw in once in a while to your players to mix it up.
Yeah. But I also enjoy the fact that I have made sure that I've not become the forever DM. I know so many other DMs that are just like, yeah, I have, not to toot my own horn, I'm a pretty decent role player. And so I've been invited into groups to help encourage role play in other players and have gotten the chance to experience a variety of different systems now. One that I particularly like that I would love to get my hands on is one called Tephra. It's a steampunk world based on a D12.
Okay.
Because everything's clockwork, so everything's 12.
Well played. Well played.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was thinking, for like, well, D12's a good die, has enough results, and everything rolls pretty well.
Yep. So because it's a steampunk clockwork. Everything's based on a D12 system. Right now, I'm just getting into a campaign. We're playing Roll, which is Pokemon trainers.
Awesome.
So, which is completely new for me. Like, I never played the Pokemon games. I played Pokemon Go, and I've watched a little bit of the cartoon, but for the most part, this is brand new for me. We've played Urban Shadows before. What was it? Stars Without Numbers?
Good
one. We tried another one for a while and ended up switching to Stars Beyond Numbers. But yeah, we've Thirsty Sword Lesbians, I think, has to be my favorite in terms of one of our just like pickup games that we played on an off week.
Oh yeah, that's a good system, and it's actually won quite a lot of awards because it is a good system.
Yeah.
It's also great because it makes certain people rage, and that makes me happy.
Yep.
I am unfortunately the forever DM. The last game I played was a very long time ago, and it was the Through the Breach, the Malifaux role-playing game.
Ooh,
I played like a couple sessions of things between then, but not like anything more than like a handful of sessions.
Gotcha. Malifaux's definitely drawn my interest, though. I hope they've gotten better with their instructions for the assembly of their minis.
They have not.
No, that's unfortunate. I probably won't be painting them then.
They're hit or miss. I love the models for the most part. Once in a while, I'm just like, the fuck is this? Get out of here.
I really want that keg golem.
Oh, he's a good one to assemble. I actually have one around here somewhere. I got one. There was a time when I was just happened to be that person who it was on Facebook at the right moment to be like, I'm getting rid of all this stuff. Like, I'll take it. And you get all the random stuff. So, yeah, what is it called? The Whiskey Golem is great.
Oh, the Whiskey Golem. Thank you.
Yes. I was trying to remember the name. The last time I saw it, my buddy, no nickname Frank, was playing it, and I unfortunately murdered the crap out of it. He was sad.
Aw.
I mean, It happens sometimes. Malifaux is a occasionally unforgiving game where if you put your paper out there and I got scissors, it's going to cut.
Which will also be at Warfare Weekend, by the way.
Yes, it will.
We will have a Malifaux tournament at Warfare Weekend.
Awesome.
A couple of them, actually.
But yeah, so
well, here's a fun question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first RPG you ever played?
Oh my god.
For me, it was Amber.
Let's show our age.
Amber, huh? Okay, that is a shocking answer. I've played Amber. We did that in high school.
Man.
That was my introduction in elementary school, like elementary, junior high.
That tracks about age-wise. So, do you mean the first one we got or the first one we played?
First one you played.
First one I played.
First edition D&D. Let's just get out of there. It was late 70s.
I'm going to say the first one I played was actually the Marvel superhero game from TSR way, way back in the day.
Oh.
The game is still enjoyable as heck.
Mine was, like I said, first edition D&D. My brother bought the first edition and was like, hey, let's try this out. And I was like, I want to play. He's like, okay.
Oh, Xander Vorler says Palladium. Do you mean the Palladium fantasy role-playing game or a different Palladium game? Because Heroes Unlimited was number 2. And that's a Palladium game, superhero game. Shock, John likes superhero games.
What? Not John.
They also did the Robotech game, and John likes Robotech. This is not a shock to anyone. Fantasy? Okay, interesting. That's a solid hack of D&D. Like, that's probably one of their better games back in the day, is the Palladium fantasy role-playing game.
Yeah, I went from Amber to Hero Quest.
Okay.
That's different.
Because that's what the kids across the street had.
I mean, yeah, if that's what they're playing, that's what they're playing. No,
and then I didn't play again until my late 20s.
No, we were junior high, I want to say. We did a bunch. We did some Robotech. I was running it. We did some Heroes Unlimited. I was running it. You'll see a constant theme. I'll tell you, the first role-playing game that I bought with my own money was actually Star Frontiers, and I still have it over on the shelf.
Ooh, I've heard of that one.
Yes. Yeah, well, hopefully for not the wrong reasons, because there was in the news recently for not the right reasons.
Well, I don't know anything about that, so.
Good. I think that's been quashed completely, but no, yeah, that's surprising. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up playing Magic the Gathering, like a lot of kids in the 90s. I was the pariah that put googly eyes on my rat decks and just swarmed the shit out of everyone.
Nice. I do remember the beginnings of Magic the Gathering. I was in college, and it's a good thing because if that had come out when I was in school, things would have went poor. I know guys who flunked out of MIT because Magic the Gathering.
See, I was in the military when it came out, and I started playing in beta, and I had a complete beta set, and I sold it as soon as I got out of the military, and I'm kicking myself in the ass.
I mean, if it was what you needed to do at the time, who cares?
Yeah.
Look, in my youth, I traded 3 Magic cards for a computer monitor to get my first computer up and running. I felt I was doing well, and I think I did do well.
The first card game I ever bought ended up like bombing horribly because it came out right at the same time as one of the Magic the Gathering sets. It came out as when the Star Wars card game came out. I thought the X-Files card game was going to be the shit, and it went nowhere.
So, you don't know this would be a nerd, but I actually ran and or managed a gaming store for a very, very long time.
Okay.
So I know all those card games. The X-Files game actually was reasonably popular in this area, but never a big one. It never got any real push. But we did, I mean, there were some cards for it that were useful.
Yeah.
The big one, we tried all of them. Like we were doing Magic, then me and the military guys near Fort Meade in Maryland, and we tried Wyvern. That did not go very well. We played that for a little bit and like, Magic, fuck this thing. The D&D card game, Spellfire. Oof.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Not a very good game. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. But there's still some we lament going by the wayside. There's one called Shadow Fist that me and my local crew love. We've bought cards. I mean, as recently as their last set, but they're not around anymore. We played the role playing game based off of it because it was a cool universe. God, there's so many out there. So many that came out and failed like everything they were trying to make a card game out of. Ultimate Combat, which is like Magic, but instead of monsters, instead of creatures, you had martial arts moves you would use against other people's martial arts moves.
I know people who would have played that.
Look, it was a solid game. Like, I actually remember that. I don't remember what company made it off the top of my head, but I remember. So we went to back when, what is it called? Origins moved from city to city. So back in the day, it was more of a general gaming convention and moved from city to city. It was in Philadelphia, and we went up there and we had all this stuff we'd gotten at my local store. I was working there, and we had all the Ultimate Combat stuff. And they came by and said, "Wow, how much are those of your boxes of our stuff?" I'm like, "This much." They're like, "We're gonna buy them all." I'm like, "Yours? I'll give you a discount even." Everyone else was like, "Well, you can't sell this thing because we've got an exclusive license." Like Illuminati was a card game. It was actually a fun card game. Steve Jackson Games.
Oh yeah. I remember that game.
It's a fun game, and you know, whoever had like Crazy Igor, or whoever had like that exclusive rights to sell it, which is bullshit. There's no such thing, but they tried to pull that shit. You know, so we're like, sure, cool. Hey, if you buy this land card for $5, I'll throw in a box of that card game you're looking at. Don't mess with me. Come on.
Man, thinking of Steven Jackson games, I played so much Shay Geek in high school, or not in high school, but in college.
Look, I mean, I lament that Steve Jackson Games isn't putting out as much anymore. They're not the name they were back when I was started because they, like, people laugh at GURPS or whatever, but GURPS was a formative game of role playing. Like
Wait, that's a Steven Jackson game. I never knew that.
Yeah, GURPS is a solid game. It just has, I feel like it has a certain narrow scheme where it's perfect. Vaguely normal people-ish, you know, not super powered or anything. That vaguely like a Star, you could run a hell of a Star Trek game with it. Anything that sort of, The Expanse, anything that sort of theme, normal people-ish would run very well. But when you start getting into the superheroes or even like the high fantasy, spells are a little weird in it, and it starts to fall apart a little bit. But it was a good game. I still have some of the books. They were such good source material. Like they were the original. Oh, hey, something cool came out. Let's make a GURPS book on, you know, whatever it is. GURPS Wild Cards, the Wild Cards book series. You read those? They did that. It was interesting. They would do any of that stuff. Like I said, it's a little too bad that people just know them for fucking Munchkin, which is, all due respect, not a great game. It's fun if you play it right. Two faces on one.
Gotta fix it. Fixing it.
Look at my collection of toys. Wait, no, I'm not.
That's not even. The thing that makes it funny is that like there is a box over there and there and there of more. I just gotta start changing them out. Right now I've got the 6-inch figures on display here because I've got the new Snake Eyes from the cartoon accurate one, Beta Ray Bill, Vincent and Old Bob, and I don't imagine you necessarily know who those are. It's fine. And then Timber.
No, I don't.
It's from a Disney movie called The Black Hole, which is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Oh man, that's a classic.
It is scientifically, it is not terribly accurate, but it is an interesting sort of like it's Disney, but it's like it gets dark.
It is, yeah. It's pretty dark for a Disney, but it's an old Disney movie though.
And it's got a hell of a cast. Like a hell of a cast. Ernest Borgnine, Maximilian Schell, Anthony Perkins. Just like, holy shit, this is a good cast.
Yeah, it is.
It was one of those like sci-fi movies you see as a kid and you latch onto. Everyone's got one.
Oh, let's see. What was it for me? Man, probably because I grew up 20 minutes from Riverside, Iowa, future birthplace of James T. Kirk. It was always Star Trek in our house.
Well, then, in that case, what is your opinion of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the first one? or the slow motion picture, some people call it.
I pretend it doesn't exist because my brother watched it so much our tape recorder ate it.
Fair. Yes, Andrew Warlord, I said the black hole. I love the black hole. I have the soundtrack. I have the collector's tin. Obviously, Vincent Oldbaum, Maximilian's over there. Like, come on. It was supposed to be Disney's answer to Star Wars. It was... The funny thing I find is that everyone's answer to Star Wars was not really an answer as far as the box office was concerned. None of them hit the same way, because you had the black hole, you had Message from Space, which is a Japanese one. Everyone's like, this is going to be next Star Wars. It was very much not the next Star Wars. I've seen it. The best thing I say about it is it's got Sonny Chiba in it. Yes, Andrew, it would give you nightmares. It is vaguely horror-ish. It is not the same subgenre of Star Wars. It's not, space fantasy. It's got a little bit of horror elements in it. Makes it different. Anyway,
Yeah.
Horror
media
elements.
section.
Oh no, that's fine.
Horror.
Oh,
Clear
horror. Okay.
Yeah, horror.
My mind's always in the gutter. You know that.
Also, I've been drinking. I may be slurring my words lately. It's possible.
All right, so for the people that don't know, this is our media section. If you're new, we have two type of rating systems we're going to go over, and this is where we talk about anything we've read, watched, whatever, any type of media. We have two rating systems. First rating system is it closer to Casablanca, or is it closer to Cats the movie? And then you can go even one worse, Cats the movie, where the buttholes are digitally added in. And we can talk about that a little bit later. For everybody to know, there was a version where they digitally added buttholes to all the cast members on the Cats.
There's a version. I have not actually seen that was actually a version, but allegedly there's a version.
Yeah. But then we also have our rating system based on space herpes. As we all know, you don't want herpes. So the fewer space herpes, the better. 0, perfect movie. 5, bad, the worst movie. And it is also based
Cats.
off... Yeah, a.k.a. Cats. And if you're kind of wondering what the space herpes is, go watch the movie Ice Pirates. Be forewarned, it is a product of its time. And
Yes.
there's some very
if you're
inappropriate
like 10 or
words.
11 when you see it, it's great.
Yes.
And now it's
Nowadays,
nostalgia. If you're 42 when you see it,
yeah.
probably not going to hit the same way.
But it does. You have to remember that this was made back in the early 80s and certain things were appropriate type stuff. So, Mama, baby, Mama, baby. It's because he's perfect. That is the best line in the entire thing.
Yes. It is absolutely the best line in the movie. Why did you make the forward black? Because I wanted it to be perfect.
And you got to watch it because the whole scene that leads up to that is great.
What is this called again?
Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates.
What it is, it's a sci-fi show where like water is like the rarest substance in the galaxy, and so they freeze it so you can transport it, and it's about a group of ice pirates that steal it from people and the adventures they go on.
Wait a minute, Robert Urich and Angelica Houston?
And Ron Perlman. Oh yeah, there's
Ron Perlman? Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Okay, I'm totally looking this up later.
It is a great movie, but it is so bad. I mean, it's a product of its time. The sexism.
Movie? No. But is it a great movie?
Yes.
I'd have to rent it. But it might be worth it.
It'll be worth it.
It's worth the $3.
Yes.
I own it. I bought it on Blu-ray. It was one of our. We used to do a movie night with two of my friends, Alex and Anna. So me and my buddy Noran would get together. We'd find two movies that were one shitty and one good that were in the same sort of genre.
Okay.
And we would watch those. And that was one of Ice Pirates, and I forget what the good one was that time. But it all started because Alex, my old podcast, was a patron and made me go see Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice in the theater.
I'm sorry.
And then it came out with the extended edition. He's like, well, what would it take to get you to see it? I'm like, I'm not. It's like, what if I come over with the copy and alcohol? I'm like, right, I'm in then. Okay, I can do that.
That's like my friend talking me into watching Twilight, but the only way she got me to watch Twilight was with the riff tracks.
Oh my god. I've just seen clips from riff tracks. It seems like magical.
I have the Rift Tracks game. That's pretty magical.
Yes. Awesome. Captain Misty says, do not watch Ice Pirates sober. That's fair. Many movies are a lot better if you're a little tipsy.
Inebriated.
Yes. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things to talk about, John.
Yep, does this. In 2 weeks, hold on. I want to say I have 3, but I only remember 2 off the top of my head.
Nerd?
I've maybe got 2 or 3.
Okay, so I'll go first like usual. So we went to the convention, and anytime we go to the hotel room, we usually put it on the Food Channel so we can watch Food Network.
Okay.
Well, this hotel didn't have it. It's like our ritual is to watch the Food Network channel. They didn't have it, so we had to watch, what are the things. And I can't believe I watched it, and I can't believe I remember it, because it was such a shitty fucking movie, Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
That the second one?
Yeah, it's the second one where they go underneath and they have the nuclear bomb and they just...
And Charlton Heston lasts about 3 seconds.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
James Caan?
I can't remember.
Con! Wait, wrong con.
Oh.
Yeah, wrong Caan. But hold on, I'm with the IMDb that. I think that's the James Caan one.
But I mean, it is so bad. It is. I mean,
no, it is not.
It is horrible beyond belief. It's not even a good, you have to look past, the special effects and all that stuff because it's a product of the time. But even the story is just horrible and it's just really bad. I'm not going to give it any rating.
It doesn't even have Roddy McDowall in it.
Yeah. So I'm not going to even give it a rating because it was so shitty. Because it's a product of the time and it was made so long ago that
1970.
Yeah, you just can't. You just got to let it go. But I mean,
no, you have to give it a rating.
Fuck, I can't give it Cats, but I'm gonna give it like a 4 because it was so bad.
A 4, and then a much closer to Cats than the Casablanca.
Correct. I mean, it's just not good. But it was on, and we just had to watch something. So, John,
watch something to that. So I was last week going like, I'm going to catch up on that new Amazon series we watched the first 3 episodes on, and the last 3 episodes are out. But at the time, I couldn't remember the name of it. So I'm like, it's brand new. Amazon's going to have it right there on the front page. It was not on the front page. In fact, I keep looking through stuff, and I'm like, I can't find it. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I remember now the name is Citadel, but I couldn't remember that. Now it's back on the front page. I don't know what happened, so I still haven't watched the last half of that. Sorry, Gonzo.
So that's on my list.
I'm going to start off watching the 3rd season of Jack Ryan.
Which is the last season, isn't it?
No, next season is the last
Next season, I know the last season is out.
So I click it and start, and I'm like, man, this is like the coldest cold open ever. But okay, I'm in. I'm following stuff. All this stuff's going on. And I'm like, man, this is like I feel like this is like that James Bond. They're finishing up the last mission for their next mission. And they get to the episode, I'm like, man, that really seemed like the last episode in the series. So I go back and I look. It was the last episode in the series. Apparently, my roommate had watched it upstairs, not on his computer, so it went back to the last episode, and we watched that. So I know how it ends now.
Oh, no. Now you got to figure out how they get there.
Exactly. But I will say, when you can watch the last episode of a series and not be completely lost, and you can sort of follow the broad strokes of what's going on, they've done a good job.
Oh yeah.
They didn't pander, they didn't spell everything out. There's no recap or anything. It's just you're like, okay, I can see what's going on here. You get the broad strokes. It's good. So, I mean, based on that, I'm going to give it. I'm not going to give it a full rating, but I'm going to say I feel positive about it because I could understand what was going on in the episode, even not having seen the first 6 or 7 episodes in the series because it started on number 8.
Nerd, what you got?
I've got Last Night in Soho.
Oh, that's on my list.
Which was absolutely fantastic. And not only good acting, I love Edgar Wright as a director.
Yes.
The music was fantastic. Casting was great. And visually probably one of the more interesting movies I've seen in a while in the way that they did some of like, it's kind of hard to explain. It's like borderline murder mystery, but this girl's having flashbacks to like stuff that happened in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's scenes where you're like seeing the characters like cross each other or be like right next to each other but not actually interacting with each other, and it's just really, really well done. I definitely put it closer to Casablanca than Cats.
Oh,
but I'd
How many
probably give it
space
I don't know, 2.
okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's on my list. I do like Edgar Wright as director. I've liked everything I've seen.
Yeah. Let's
I mean-
let's put it this way. Matt Smith does a much better job of being the bad guy in this than he does in Morbius.
I have not. It has not been Morbin time for me yet because I like to say I have standards. They're low. If something gets that bad of reviews that quick, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think Gonzo watched it and hated it, but that's not
I hate
surprising.
it beyond belief.
Everybody I know who's watched it has hated it, so I've just actively avoided it.
I am just so happy that they talked so much about it on Twitter and got it trending that they re-released it in the theater for it to fail a second time.
Oh yeah.
That is amazing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They were like, oh, there people are talking about it. Let's re-release it, and it
Someone
bombed even
just
worse.
saw that it was trending, and rather than researching it, they said it's trending. We need to get it back in the theater for a second run. We can make our money, and no, they did not.
Oh, yeah.
You guys into so many bad Sony Marvel movies, but I mean, not the Spider-Man ones.
Not the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a few things that happened that I watched. Still watching Citadel, still enjoying it. There's a new spinoff, and it did get renewed for another season, so I'm happy about it.
Okay, I'm going to try and finish that up, so don't give us a full review.
I'm going to wait until you're done so we can talk about it, but I did want to say I'm caught up. I'm liking it. It's been renewed, and there is a spinoff series in the Citadel universe coming out.
Okay.
So I'm for
Just
that.
hope they spend less money, because remember, they said, like, the rumors, and I haven't confirmed, that they spent $300 million on 6 episodes. I don't fucking know how you do that.
Yeah. So watching Silo, which is on Apple Plus, and started watching a new show called Griffin. It's a foreign TV show. I think it's on Amazon Prime, and it's not been too bad. Just a little interesting. I'll wait for reviews, but the one thing I wanted to give a good review on is this last week was the ending, and my heart hurts.
Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso. I will say this show is... we need more shows like Ted Lasso. We need more
Everybody
positive...
keeps telling me to watch it, but I just can't. I couldn't get into it.
It's on my list to get Apple TV for that, because I've seen some clips and it looks... It's good.
It is so amazing. I was talking to a friend of mine, and this show, it starts off kind of weird and everything. You're like, really? A soccer show? And then you're like, get into it, and you're like, man, the writing in this is good. The story is good. The characters are great. And they get into it, and you cry almost every episode, and it's usually good, happy tears. And, like, there's always good representation. Characters are building. Characters are evolving.
Like, the clips I've seen have been so uplifting. Character development has been like it's... I feel like it's might be what people need in their lives, and things are getting negative. Watch it be...
We had a discussion about this, because, like...
I'll have to add it to my list then, and maybe finally give in and start watching more than 2 episodes.
Oh, yeah. Give it a little bit. And, I mean, I really like it. It reminds me of The Good Place. The Good Place started off like, and then by the end of it, I've watched the entire series twice.
I just started The Good Place.
Oh, it's... By the end of it, you'll have to message me and get some tissues.
Okay.
Get some tissues. But
I even use one of the quotes from Ted Lasso with my people, which is, don't judge, be curious.
Yes.
Yes.
He stole it from somebody,
I like
but
that.
I'm like, I tell them that because we're in customer service, so they start to judge people. I'm like, don't judge them, just be curious. Figure out why are they so upset? That kind of thing. It's good words.
I mean, I've liked this and The Good Place and these happy good feel type TV series that I really can't watch. Like, someone told me to watch Succession on HBO, And I go, I can't get into it because it's rich people being shitty to themselves and shitty to other people. And I don't need that in my life because that happens all the time. That is how life is. And I don't need to see that. I want to see more shows like Ted Lasso. Don't get me wrong. I like my, post-apocalyptic and, The Boys and all that stuff. But there is something about
I love The Boys.
Ted Lasso.
Oh, remember what I said? Like, people are like, oh, John, you don't watch X series that's like post-apocalyptic. I'm like, look, I feel like there's only enough negativity in you to watch one episode of humanity fucking each other over during the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And I chose Battlestar Galactica. So
Yes.
no
Yes.
Walking Dead or any of that. That I felt like that was good. There's good, but I feel like you can't because you watch too much negativity. It's why I stopped watching Andor. I told you, it felt like it was too. And Picard season 2, I was like, it feels like you're hitting too hard on actual issues that are right this moment.
Correct.
And I don't want to be reminded of them. I want escapism a little bit.
Yeah. Have you seen Last of Us?
I have not.
John won't watch that one. I did. I love the shit out of it.
I've heard it's good. I won't. I mean, it's also vaguely zombie based, and I don't like zombie stuff at all.
Yeah, it's vague.
Fair.
Yeah, it's one of the most perfect series out there too. But
John,
it is also is a
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead is the last zombie thing I watched that I liked.
Fair. That is my favorite zombie movie.
Yeah.
I prefer my zom-coms.
Exactly. It hit the notes all right.
Yes.
Never really, but I'm really a fan. Like, I'm a big theory of zombies. The zombies should be slow and pondering, and the problem with them is that there's so many of them. When you get the 28 days later or whatever that is, that kind of thing, it's like, those aren't zombies. You change the dynamic of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a horror guy in general. I like my horror with something else.
I like my horrors with something else
Same.
too, but
Like, Army of Darkness.
Yes.
Or with a ton of comedy.
Yes.
but I'm gonna give Ted Lasso. It's a 0. 0 Spice Herpes.
No
It's
shock there.
one of my greatest series of all time. I'm gonna miss it a lot. John?
So I'm trying to think of what else I watched. I know I watched something last week I want to talk about that wasn't me watching the last episode there. But until I think about it, because I talked about Zulu 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today, I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark in the theater.
I'm so jealous.
They had the Fathom. It's off Wednesdays, and also I just can't make Wednesdays because I have to work a single hour from 7 to 8 p.m. So
I'll have to start looking at Fathom again.
Now my highlights are different than your highlights, but they're doing a year of Studio Ghibli.
Oh,
They just did that. We had that here like a year or two ago. So
well, they're going through all of them. I think Kiki's Delivery Service is next.
Nice.
But they're gonna have. I mean, if you missed any of those, God, watch them in the theater.
The last time I went to a Fathom event was when they did the 20th anniversary of Fifth Element.
Oh, I missed that one.
Oh,
There's a lot I missed.
That's my favorite movie.
Oh, that's a. I've always said that movie is way better than it has any right to be.
Yes.
Like it does not deserve to be that good, but everything fits together perfectly, and like we're great.
Do you know who they originally wanted for Ruby Rod?
No.
Prince.
He would have killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have killed it. It would have been a totally. He would have been less obnoxious than Chris Tucker, which is not really a shock. Chris Tucker's default is obnoxious.
Yes.
It's actually why I have a hard time rewatching the Rush Hour movies. Anyways, but I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark in the theater. It is also playing Wednesday for those of you with fan events near you in case you decide you want to see it. But what can I say? It's Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is great to see it on the big end. That's actually Temple of Doom.
Oh, damn it.
Which I'll note, if you want to watch them chronologically, like there's a whole thing you should watch Raiders chronologically, and I've done a lot of listening to this. There's an old podcast, there's a lot of movie podcasts, and a guy was like, loves Temple of Doom because when you watch them chronologically, you watch the first part of The Last Crusade, where it's young Indiana Jones, River Phoenix, rest in peace.
Yep.
Then you watch Temple of Doom because it takes place chronologically before Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Indiana Jones is all fortune and glory. He's a mercenary. He's more of what Belloc is in fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then Raiders of the Lost Ark, at the end of that movie, he's turned around. He's now an actual archaeologist. It belongs in a museum. And then Raiders of the Lost Ark happens. He has that arc. And then you go into the rest of The Last Crusade. And then you watch... I mean, if you hate the last movie, then you don't watch
Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull. But I've never
seen Crystal Skull.
Only one scene doesn't fit in, and that's because it's a little too silly and a little too CGI. The rest of it's fine. It's not... I'm of the opinion that actually, like, their quality is in direct relation to their release schedule. Raiders is the best. Temple Doom is second best. Last Crusade is third best. And hear me out. It's because, and it's not that movie's fault, it's because it's a product of its time. They needed to fit comedy in. So they took Marcus Brody and Salah and made them comedic. When if you see both of them in the first movie, they're not comedic.
No.
They're serious
not
people.
At all. Yeah.
But, so like, I don't it's still a fun movie. It's a great time. And so back to Raiders, it is still a great time. Like, you don't realize that all the beats of Raiders. You don't realize that that movie is paced fucking well. You don't spend too much time on anything. Like, they're like, in the beginning, like, the chase scene took 6 minutes of screen time. How long did it take to film? Like, that's not 6 minutes. I'm like, man, they fucking made a great chase scene in 6 minutes. But the whole thing just hit still. I mean, it's like, there are things you're like, oh, this doesn't necessarily fit. Marion's a bit more of a damsel in distress than she would be in a modern movie, and that's fine. At least she can hold liquor better than all the male characters in the fucking movie.
It's true.
But it still hits great. It is enjoyable. It's zero. It's zero space herpes, and it is... Since I'm rating things on it, and it's an older movie, I would put it, since I've been rating Casablanca, Zulu's below that, I would put this right about par with Zulu in that top-tier older movie, because it's just good every time you watch it. Hey, Legion, you are late as fuck.
You are late as fuck.
Third, what else you got?
Let's see. I went to see Guardians 3.
Ooh, that's on my list, but, man,
on my list
movies
too.
are hard.
Bring Your Tissues.
No, of course.
Look, Guardians 2 at the end made me bawl. Like,
yeah.
I have long said that I like the Guardians movies, and I hate the Guardians in other movies, except for Rocket. Rocket, fine, but...
Yeah. But, it's... I don't know. I kind of put it as the first one's great, second one's okay, third one's good.
Okay.
I actually is better than the first one, but okay.
I didn't care much for the second one, honestly.
That's fair.
But I have a love-hate relationship with Kurt Russell.
Okay, that's...
So, but that goes back to childhood. Because
wait, which movie? Which movie?
The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes.
Oh man.
So old school. Okay, you're going way back.
Yeah.
But since then, he's done Big Trouble in Little China and Tombstone, which are just both...
Yeah.
Like, just taking those two out of his entire catalog, which is intense. Those two are amazing.
But he also made Captain Ron.
Oh, yeah, that was horrible, too.
I've been trying to forget that. And honestly, and I hate to say this because some people love it, he's not...
I would give it one space herpy.
Okay. That seems fair.
Let's see.
I have to try and make it after work because I'll be honest, Sunday at the local mall to get to the theater is not good.
No.
Okay, so something was on and I had to watch it because it is such a classic and it is such in my childhood, and I watched it anyway because... Do what?
I feel like you're trolling us. You're setting us up. You're buttering us up.
No, I'm setting you up because it's actually really good. Because this I remember all the time, and this is what, this is like, oh, this is such great, I want to run stories, I want to do games on this, and it's the Raskin and Bask the Hobbit. The cartoon just brought back so many memories. It is the only Hobbit movie that we're going to talk about ever.
I'm going to watch. so we can talk about something else. Look,
But
I don't hate the Hobbit movies. Their biggest problem is they're not as good as the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
That is their biggest problem.
yeah, they tried to do too much and did it the wrong way.
Oh God, dare I ask you what you think of Rings of Power?
I'm okay with Rings of Power so far.
First
Okay.
episode and was like, that was fine, and then never went back to it.
But I mean, this one, there was something about the Lord of the Hobbit in this cartoon form that is just pure good cartoon, good fun. They do the songs, as Big Jim Slade is talking in there. Do the Tolkien songs, even the songs. The orcs sing their songs. Everything happens really good, and anybody says anything in the Hobbit, says you mean the Raskin and Best one, because I don't. That's what I grew up on, and it was just solid. It was just solid. I enjoy the shit out of it. It's always going to be a 0 for me.
I'm gonna throw some stuff out there. I have only seen it all the way through once when I was really, really young and never revisited it.
Yeah, but you also liked, Ready Player One, so we won't talk about that.
Oh, do you want to go on that one? Huh?
Are we talking about the book or the movie?
The movie.
See, I didn't hate the movie.
Gonzo hated the movie.
I knew going into it that it wasn't going to be anything like the book because Spielberg doesn't self-reference, so they had to sneak references in there, so it cut out like half of the book.
Yeah, and my biggest complaint is they didn't do it in the time frame that the book was written in, and I know that they had to. I know they had to update it and everything, and that was I was just very disappointed in that.
Yeah. I read the book as well before seeing the movie, and I much prefer the book.
Yeah. So.
I have not read the book, and at this point probably won't.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Well, his book Armada is pretty much just a rip-off of Last Starfighter, so...
Why would you rip off Last Starfighter? It's
so good.
I'm not going to call it a perfect movie, but it's really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we watched that. I think I watched that again last year. Keep hoping for the Last Starfighters to come out as the sequel, but still has not.
No. So, Nerd, you got one more because you'll be.
I do.
Sending this out.
The Machine.
The Machine.
The Machine.
Oh,
the Bert Kreischer movie.
Oh, based off his skit. Okay.
The reason I went is the fact that Mark Hamill plays his father. It was not a well-paced movie. It was fun as hell. It is not a well-paced movie, but it was funner than I expected, based on what was essentially just, like, the first 45 minutes of it was just, like, a recap of the skit. His stand-up bit.
Yeah.
And so, like, and then it takes off. But Mark Hamill steals the movie hands down.
I felt like he was going to based on the clips I saw. I mean, it's on my list, but it's on my I'll see it when it's free or rent really cheap list. Yeah. I'm not going to go to a theater for that.
We took some teenagers to it.
Okay, there you go. That'll work. Yeah. But, like, I love the Machine skit. Like, it is one of a handful of comedy things I rewatch when I'm feeling down because it always brings me up.
Fair. I would give it 3 space herpes and probably halfway between Casablanca and Cats.
Also, it's right there with Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Woohoo, Beastmaster!
Well, after our last time, I've rated Beastmaster as the fancy movie. Is it better or worse than Beastmaster as whether I will watch it or not?
Now I want to go watch Red Sonja.
Oh.
Red Sonja is better than Beastmaster.
Oh, I know.
Guys, it is actually time. We are actually a minute over. And I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Everybody's got like tight schedules and everybody has to keep everything going, so on and so forth. But We really appreciate you coming out. We really appreciate everybody listening, everybody watching. Nerd, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Hey,
Thank you.
Captain Mizzy, make sure you give a good shout out to Nerd for her Twitch channel, so everybody knows to go over there and follow her and such. So you can check it out. When do you stream on your channel, Nerdhalla?
Typically at 3 o'clock Central Time during the week.
Every day?
So kind of when it. Yep.
Okay. And they were doing
Awesome.
Disney Dreamlight Valley last time.
Yeah, that's my lazy Sunday game.
Hey.
But I don't. Weekends are kind of hit or miss. That's just like if I feel like streaming, but normally just weekdays.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
So.
We will actually be sending y'all out to the Painting Dead. He's going to be working on some. Looks like he's working on some Warhammer stuff, which is
Sweet.
shocking.
Warhams.
Everything like that. Nerd, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was a lot
This
of fun.
Great.
Guys, as we always say, if you see something, say something. If you can do something, do something. If you can't, find someone that will. We appreciate you, and thank you for More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
And I'm Nerd.
Good night. Stick around for that Nerdhalla.
Oh. Hail hydrate before we go. All right.
Hit that raid button. Come on, we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 742. Rating now. Good night, folks.